G'day everyone, it's our 1 o'clock interview, and today I'm joined by the magnificent Shallini. And I've known Shallini for like what feels like forever. Thanks for coming on, Shallini. It's so great to have you here.
Oh, look, this is the highlight of my week. I just love this group. It's my secret obsession. And then when you asked me to share it with people, I had to like counsel myself and say, okay, just tell people that you found some relief, that this is your secret relief, your secret out. So, yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Oh, that's okay. And it's Shallini was just telling me. Now, Shallini is an amazing lawyer. She helps small business, but we're not going to talk about that today. So, Shallini, tell us what you'd rather be doing today if not for talking to me.
I just want to sit on my couch and watch season 4 of The Last Kingdom. That's it. I'm one of these people that goes into a depression when a series ends. You know, like Vikings. How rude was that? It came back for like this quickie, and then disappeared again. You know, that last. If you're not a Vikings person, you won't get it. But it was this endless number of seasons. Then it came back for like 2 minutes. A real quick stab in the dark, and then it just disappeared again, and the last bit comes on I don't know when. So yesterday Last Kingdom, or the day before Last Kingdom started, this season 4, and I'm just obsessed with it. I just want to push everyone aside. I'm cooking meals really quickly. I'm ignoring like personal grooming just to be able to sit there and watch it in between.
Maybe what you could do is put a TV
I'm trying to, yeah, and also like I've even been known not to go to the loo, like just hold on until like you just can't hold on anymore, because you know there isn't much at the moment. I know, but isn't that like, you know, I'm not kidding when I'm a person of extremes. Behind that facade of legally Shallini, you know, where it's all cool, you know, very considered, reasonable, and I'm actually a big seething hot friggin' mess.
Yeah, well, you've heard it here first, people. Like, this is breaking news, and I hope you're sitting down. But I hear what you're saying. We just watched the 4 seasons and the mini-series of Battlestar Galactica. So, you know, it's old school sci-fi, but it's one of the best I've ever seen. And it ended, and I cried. Even though I've seen it 5 times, I still cried that it was over.
I know.
There's something magnificent about good storytelling.
I think so. You know, I ask myself, why do I sit riveted by things like, you know, shows like Last Kingdom, which is like really just a medieval fairy story, but it's just, you told me a long time ago it was a book, because that, you know, and then I downloaded the book on Audible, and it's like chapters and chapters and chapters long. I need 5 years to get through it. And then I looked at why I enjoy other series, other books, other shows like that. And it's all about the storytelling. I guess my brain is so work focused that when I watch something, I need to be consumed, you know, like I don't want to be left thinking about other things. And that's why some shows will cut it for me. I can't do the light chick flick stuff, because my brain wanders. The boredom factor kicks in, and I'm not consumed enough, and it's very predictable. So I need stories that aren't predictable, like to an extent. Most stories are, but that's how it rolls with me.
I found a good one yesterday, and it's on Amazon Prime, and it's called Top of the Loop, or something in the loop. Hang on, now I've got to look it up, because I've got to tell you about this show. Hey, we could just do a whole segment on TV.
On TV shows or Netflix. You know, I've got Amazon Prime on 30 days trial, and I haven't actually.
Tales from the Loop, and it's a drama science fiction. Now, it doesn't move really fast, but the storytelling and the visual cinematography is just spellbinding. It's just so beautifully shot, well acted. But if you're looking for action packed, it's not. But each episode is a standalone story with this underlying theme through it. And we watched 4 episodes last night. Well, we'll just watch one, see what it's like. And 10
Yeah.
o'clock, it was like, we should probably go to bed. We've got to get up and work tomorrow.
Now, what's that big furry, feathery thing on your neck?
That's my earring.
Oh, that's your signature piece.
That's
I've
my
seen it a few
Pagani.
times. Yes.
It was made especially for me by Cass from Pagani. And
And
I
so
just thought it went with my shirt.
Is it a one-off?
Yeah, it's a one-off.
It's a one-off.
It's a one-off.
So because you are an ambassador, aren't you?
I am indeed.
I do stalk you. Like I do. I know you're an ambassador for a few things. I'm very jealous. I think you make.
Well, I just find things that I love, and I'm a bit like you. I get very one-eyed. So if I find something that I really love, I'll buy, like this top I've got on, which was actually black the other day, and I cleaned the toilet with bleach, and it ended up with bleach on it. So I went, I'll just bleach the whole thing. So this is my bleach shirt. And I went, well, my earrings go really nicely with my
They
bleach
do.
shirt.
They do. And I would never have picked that for a toilet bleached top.
There's a new fashion line in that, I think.
Yeah. But it's funny we talk about colours, isn't it? Like my when I was setting up my business, this business about branding and colours and colour schemes and everything. And I remember at the time the person doing my website said to me, colours. And I said, I said, look, when I show up anywhere, I only ever wear one lipstick, right? It's $3. Back then it was $3.95 from Terry White Pharmacy. And it was an Ulta brand. You know the Ulta brand? Yeah,
no.
If you obviously you spend you probably buy Christian Dior. I'm a Terry White Pharmacy or a pharmacy brand girl. Anyway, it's the only lipstick that has the right color depth for dark people like myself. And I said to her, I sent her the lipstick in the mail. I said, listen, this is on my face every day. So you better do something to make sure that this is in my colors somewhere. And that's how we kind of arrived at things. And I watch businesses develop all the time now, and so much of the good stuff comes when there is actually only a little bit of planning, and the rest is left to like picking luck out of life, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I've seen people plan things to the last degree in their branding and their business setup and all that, and yet I've seen people just slap it together because they felt something felt right.
Yeah, sometimes
and pick the ball and run it. Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go with the, I think sometimes we think things through a little bit too much, but that's just me because I appreciate everyone's different.
I do. Everyone is different, but I think that when you arrive at a point, when you look at people that do really, really what's the word, are charismatic in their business, or their business seems effortless, they are usually the ones that don't kind of second guess everything. They're happy to just like make the mistake and get on with it, or pull it off with cross their fingers and their toes and just go ahead and do it. It is very much against my training, okay, because we like to plan everything. But over the years, I've learned to detach myself from that thing. But I have I've realized, in this time of this period that we're in, this corona, get me a corona period.
My corona.
My corona period that we're in. You see it manifest. You see that ability in people manifest itself in lots of different ways. For me personally, I've really thought about the question, you've raised, how to take care of others, or how to take care of your clients, or how to take care of whoever is crossing your path. that is there's a cookie cutter way, and then there is you, because that's where you can pay lip service to it, as in, oh yes, I want to be seen to be looking after my neighbor, my clients, my parents, my friends or whatever. But then I guess the other thing I've seen done really well is when people have been treating each person like as an individual, like not assuming that they have responded the same way as everybody else to something. And I've found that and I know we're not going to talk about business, but I have been surprised time and again this time with people in business and who I have spoken to, like, it is so wrong to assume that everybody has a similar response to this time of doom and gloom. I've just been surprised, like, how many people are thinking outside the box, how many people are very optimistic, how many people have come up with different types of plans of action, how many people have realized that this is the time to use the savings you've squirreled away, because we put them away for crisis times.
And
We
this
don't
is a
put them.
crisis.
This is a crisis. Yeah, that's been like a big lesson for me. I'm so pleased to have seen that variety of responses.
Hey, Leanne. Leanne's popped in to say hello. I think so too, and I think there's a danger of I'm working with someone at the moment, and we're about to put out a release around the dangers of mass motivation. Is that not all of us have responded to this as it's a joyous opportunity to pivot and change and do all of those things. Some people, it's actually really quite confronting because their whole world has changed. And we're not
Yes.
all resilient and brave and strong. Some people are broken, and this has broken them even more. And when we presume to know how other people feel, then we kind of diminish their experience.
It's interesting you say that, because we both live in the online world, right? Work from the comfort of our space at home or wherever we are, and our clients are all over, in your case, the world, in my case, Australia and Commonwealth jurisdictions. And we sort of, like, we've been doing this for a while. So we've got the online gig was not rocket science or a new animal to us. We've made a few revisions, but generally speaking, we were already doing this. Then there are people that have also already been doing this, and this has come up with. I've found people, people I've spoken to who have online shops, for example. So they sell things online through a shop. Right, their shop is the e-commerce on the website, and they have been like deer looking at frozen in the headlights. Yeah, literally, because they're already online, okay, but they have been so overwhelmed by the general mass impact statement that government has put out, that they haven't been able to, like, come back to their own business and their own purpose and realize that they've been doing this all along. And that they'll be fine. So you are very right. We can't assume that just because someone has been online that they're going to respond as business as usual, and you can't assume that someone who has never worked online is going to take to it like that, or even ever wants to. And you can't assume that somebody who has the potential to pivot will be okay with pivoting. And this is it.
To be a nice, because we're talking about being a kind person, which is because I think you're one of the kindest people I know. You're so giving, you're so generous. I know that you've helped me so many times, and you never ask for anything, and you just give. I'm not saying everybody, Shallini's available for free legal advice, because she's my friend, she's not yours. So, but part of being kind is giving people space to move, isn't it? To be able to find how they fall and how they fit in.
Yeah, it is. And it's also, it's like you can throw someone into a container, and it takes them time to find out how they're going to fill it, and with what are they going to fill it, and are they going to, is it, or even if they're capable of filling it. We can't. It'll always come back to how you see yourself, and what it is that you ever really wanted. Now, you may never have wanted to go online in your business. There are so many people out there. Look at the services you and I use that are in person, right? That we rely. We don't want to change that. It has been a struggle. I mean, I'm still looking for that post back then in the group about personal grooming, about the black market for waxing. I'm not saying I'm looking for that, but it hasn't come up, and I'm still like wondering whether that's something that might show up at some point. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, you do absolutely got a feel for those people that never wanted to be online. And there's a
Or
lot.
even,
It
or
is not
expected to
easy.
find themselves out of work. Or,
That's right.
I know people who I would have thought had the most secure job on the planet, and they're out of work, and they're confronting, like, there is no way, as much as, like, law's all about planning, PR's all about planning, is that nobody can plan for this. Nobody can plan for how they're going to react. Like, I know the first 3 weeks I was in the biggest, darkest, blackest pit.
Yeah.
And it was
And
like,
it's
that's
interesting.
it.
In hindsight, though, like, I didn't expect to be feeling the way I feel now, 6 weeks into it. Because my business, I don't know about you, but there was a bit of a black hole there for about 3 weeks where, everything was a trickle. What was previously a flood was now a trickle. And it was it was like we were holding our breath. I don't know about you, but I felt like I was underwater and holding my breath. And so either I was going to break the surface or I was just going to drown. One of the two things was going to happen. I don't know when I broke the surface or when I came out of it and when I stopped worrying about it, but I did, because one thing is really certain, I realized, is that nothing stays the same. So since this whole thing started, the next week has not been the same as the previous week, even though we may think it is, like in terms of our living conditions and the restrictions. But in little ways, we have made the most enormous adjustments. So the changes come from within. It hasn't necessarily been that anything outside's changed. I mean, I'm still everything is still as it pretty much was. There's a few things. I can buy more than 2 cartons of coconut milk for Ellie in one shop. Yes, I found that out yesterday, and it's been like that for a week. Do you know, I was still going into the shop thinking it was the milk was milk was rationed.
You can only get 2, yeah.
Yeah, but it stopped like a week ago.
Oh, come on, keep
And
up.
I only found out yesterday when I went up there, and I couldn't see the sign. And I said to the lady, I said, "Oh, can you?" She said, "Yeah, it's been like that for a week." Oh, God.
I didn't get the
Because
newsletter.
it became my normal.
Yeah, we've just gotten used to it. Like,
became my normal.
I'm feeling now, though, they're having restrictions here in Queensland, Australia, which is where both Shallini and I are based. And Friday, it was like they're lifting restrictions, and really you're only allowed, you can travel 50 kilometres and you can go sit in a park and have a picnic and stuff like that. And I almost found myself going, oh, I kind of gotten used to my life as it's become the last 5 or 6 weeks. Oh, I'm going to have to leave the house. I don't know if I can do that.
And then, did you ever because I had a day on the weekend where I think I was a bit hit the wall with cabin fever kind of feeling. I mean, I was still going for a walk, blah blah blah, but I just had this overwhelming feeling of like a fly stuck in a spider's web kind of thing, that I could only bounce off it a little bit and then bounce right back into the spider's web. You know what I mean? And
Uh,
Natalie said to me, "You're not coping, are you?" And I said, "What makes you think I'm not coping?" She said, "Well, you're just like starting to talk about all the things you can't do." And I said, "Well, yeah, they are all the things I can't do." She said, "Well, what about all the things you can?" I said, "I'm not interested in those at the moment.
yeah, stop
I'm
being
sick of,
positive.
yeah." And also I've been focusing on all the things I can do all week, and I'm tired of it. My brain's tired of being in that. I want. And she said, "Okay, I think it's time you had some time out and go for a walk by yourself today." I said, "Oh." But I did kind of like, start to feel. I started to feel the same age as Ellie, who's 3.5.
Okay, a little bit of
Yeah.
toddler tantruming going on
Yes,
there.
well, there was a slight. There was a slight issue on the weekend with me about that, and but I have to say, things that have saved me during this time, apart from Netflix, of course. I mean, thank God for that.
And
Imagine
Last Kingdom.
imagine if we didn't have that.
Oh, imagine if we just had like the 4 stations we
I
have
know
in
Channel
Australia,
O, Channel 9, Channel 7,
and we had
Channel
to watch
2,
Married at First Sight over and over and over again.
or A Current Affair,
Okay,
Home
that's
and
it.
Away. Yeah, I know. But but things I am grateful for is, of course, Netflix and SBS On Demand has been, a really, like, when I'm feeling I need sort of like to be in another country, somewhere else,
Traveling.
mentally traveling, that I sort of like go into there. And the International Movie Collection on Netflix is also somewhere I go to a lot. But the other things I've been doing, we have been eating extremely well.
Oh,
I
you
tell,
make the best curry.
well, I have to. I can't be Indian and not make a curry properly.
Yeah, well,
But I have,
you'd be a disgrace to your race if you
but
couldn't
we,
make a good curry.
but you know something, like I have I'm one of 4 siblings, and we have a WhatsApp group. And at the best of times, we are not, we talk, but it's not. We don't share much. It's like hi bye because we're all so busy. Since Corona, we are all chefs.
Family
Okay, so
restaurant in the
in my
making.
well, can I tell you that must be our alter egos, because I'm a lawyer. My other brother's a lawyer. The other brother is in publishing, and my sister is an economist. And so our conversation tends to be somewhat quite uh, dry, or
Not high
often
achievers at all, are you?
no. We're always a bit like, we kind of share a really disgusting or something really sarcastic. Oh, there you are. And but so lately, since Corona, it's like this competition. We take these photos of the foods we're making, and then it got to a stage where I had to like ask for evidence and say, "Listen, I need to see this pig on the spit, like in a zoom shot with the rest of your kitchen that I know well, right? No more close-ups, because it's bullshit."
You've been
Okay.
taking it off Google.
Yeah, you've been taking, and there's law against that if you don't have permission. Anyway,
So, can
so
you share with me? I want you to share with me the secret to making a good Indian curry. What's your favorite?
okay, the secret is don't use a paste,
Okay,
right?
no paste.
Don't ever use it. No paste. So you don't use a paste. Get yourself a good quality uh, curry powder. Go to an Indian shop, a good Indian shop, and they say, oh, you should grind it all yourself, but there are actually some really good ones. So uh, find a brand like the South African Indian masalas are really good. and the Fiji Indian masalas are really good. The Indian masalas are really good if you are not fourth generation out of India. So like
That would
it's
be
a little
me.
bit, yeah. So, and also, we from Fiji we make a different curry. We don't use cream in our curries. We don't use paste. We are very uh, for us the ingredients stay fairly simple and fairly, like, you need to identify what it is that you've cooked. Quite often when you go to an Indian restaurant, you will not really be able to identify the meat in the curry,
Kind of like
and that's not a
going,
bad thing. Yeah, it's because it's drowned in a sauce, whereas you won't find that with Fiji cooking.
how come
So
there's not a lot of vegetables in Indian curry?
because we cook vegetables separately,
Ah, okay.
because and it we are not Chinese. We don't stir fry everything together.
Sorry,
Right?
I didn't know.
Indians will cook vegetables separately. They'll cook lentils separately. Occasionally, they'll mix vegetables and lentils together. And then meat is cooked separately. And sometimes meat and rice is cooked together. But we try to be very, I think from coming from Fiji, we like to identify. Like when you look at our dinner table or lunch table, you can say, that's fried chicken. Oh, yes, that's bean curry. Oh, that's dal. Whereas if you go to sometimes when it's over sauced, you can't see what's in the curry itself. So to your question of how to do a good one, get a good curry powder, and if there's anybody listening and they want to know what curry powders I use, send me a message and I'll take a picture and send you the packet. The
Look,
other thing is,
there's aha moments going on here, Shallini.
yeah, and so stay away from any fruit in curries,
No
right?
fruit.
And no fruit. That's, I don't know which country those curries come from, but not from a curry originating country. The other thing that you try is always use fresh curry leaves where you can. Curry leaves is usually used with meat, not with just every other vegetables. No fruit, no cream, fresh meat. So what I always do is I try and cook the meat that I buy that day. So if I'm cooking chicken curry, I'll buy the chicken. Not I don't bring it home, freeze it, and then thaw it and cook it. I just cook it the day I
So
buy it
you're
from the
saying
butcher.
that you serve the meat separate to the curry sauce?
No, we cook the curry. The curry, we don't have a sauce. We don't use a paste. We don't use a jar of curry paste. So we heat up oil. We add the curry leaves. We add onion, garlic, chili, a little bit, because the hotness in curry comes from pepper, not from chili. Okay, so chili, be gentle with it. Don't go overboard. And then you add the curry powder. When you use curry powder, you always add a bit of water to release the flavor. Then you add it to the oil and the onions and all that. And then when it starts to separate, that the curry powder is ready for the meat. You put the meat in. You always cook it until the first round of meat sweats. You know how when you cook meat, it sweats and all this liquid comes out? You
Mm-hmm.
let that cook away. Then you put the lid on, let it cook through, take the lid off, leave it for 5 minutes, and then your curry is close to being ready.
Oh my god, I'm
So
so hungry now.
it's not important. It's everybody has a different way of cooking, um, but I think the basics are the same. And I've been cooking now. I don't have a recipe. I struggle with recipes, and that's really quite interesting because I've never been able to. People always say to me, "Oh, can I have the recipe for this?" And in the end, Natalie ends up videoing me cooking and sending them a video because it's so hard for me to say you use a cup of this. But I'm getting better. I'm now starting to use measuring equipment so that when somebody says to me, "Look, how much mustard seeds do you put in?" Instead of saying, "Oh, just this much," I can say actually it's 2 teaspoons.
So you're going to
So
launch a YouTube channel?
Huh?
Cooking
You
with
know, I don't know how to,
Shallini.
yeah, I don't know how to connect it with anything else about me. That's why I'm so pleased with Obsessed, because we have a lot of dots in us that do not connect. Okay, so I see this group as a place for my dots that don't connect with other dots that I have.
Oh, I love that. That is amazing. It is, and
Yes,
it's a place where you can come and be the person that's not the lawyer or the PR person or the marketing
yeah,
person or the clothes sale person, where you can come and be Shallini and Annette and Leanne and Mary
yes.
and Lee and all of those people that you're seeing showing up and sharing such there's so many beautiful sides that they have.
When I invited people to this group, you know, I write my own newsletter. One of the things that I learned to do during COVID was write my own newsletters. Right, my previous newsletters, I provided the content, but you know, I had fallen into that formula thing, and then COVID started, and I thought, well, I'm just going to do them myself, because what happened was I actually had things I needed to say to people that were on my list, and it took too long to get it all organized to the person that through the outsourcing. So I thought, all right, Shalini, like, just get a grip and just do it yourself. Like, you know, stop it. Just stop it. Stop
Stop
being so
it.
precious. Just stop it. And I'm thinking of the PM, because I think it was when he was saying stop it, and I was thinking about my newsletters, and I thought, right, I'm just going to write my bloody newsletters myself. So I went on. I forced I thought, just learn to do it, Shane. It can't be rocket science. You know, you've avoided it, like, you know, you've made out that you just are the best outsourcing queen ever, but really you didn't have a clue, and that's why you did it. And so just learn how to do it. And this is coming from someone that took 4 years to get a driver's license.
I like it. I like the way that you've sped up your learning curve there. Shalini,
Thank you.
we've got to wrap this up because we've been chatting for over 30 minutes. And
Okay.
I'm sure
It's
that we
been
could
great.
keep
I know that there was supposed to be a point to our chat, but I don't know what that was.
I think we made
But
a point. We
it's
talk
okay.
about curry. We talked about curry. We talked about Netflix. Very
Yes. All
important.
these important things.
Yeah, and we talked about being kind to people. So I did want to talk to you about life in Fiji, but we may have to have another chat about that because I won't go into it now. But
Well, you'll have to come with me to Fiji, Annette. That's the other thing. We can do this chat from there.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
As
Field
soon
trip.
as soon as the restrictions lift, I am going home.
I went to Fiji at
Would have been 9
Christmas.
months. Yeah,
And
it's just I miss it so much.
I loved it. I think I'm Fijian at heart.
I think you might be too. I think you
so.
might be. You've got that whole swing through life. And,
that's me. I think if I'm not Fijian, I'm from Vanuatu or I'm from some island.
We'll have to rename you Anna.
Anna, okay. That's a Fijian name?
Yes.
Okay, as long as it's not marijuana.
No, it'd be Mariana. Or Mariani.
Mariana.
Marijuana is really funny. Good one. That's a really good one.
Oh, Shallini, you're just the bomb. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Look, everyone stay safe. Look after yourselves. And we'll see you again. Another chat.